Well, this came through the post from Google. YouTube Google. Lights, camera, glow. You managed to get your hands on a limited edition YouTube Neon. A special thank you from your friends at YouTube for brightening the world with your creativity. Woo! We'd love to see your new sign in action. Tag us. No, I will not. Probably cheap bloody sign. Have fun. Who has fun these days? I'm not allowed to have fun. Is this what have I got to do here? Take this off. Take that out of there. I haven't done this. And YouTube and a bass. And a switch and a plug. Well, I thought it was going to be a battery thing, you know, the 2-second thing. Oh, come on, that's it. I've had some week this week, I tell you. Front page of the Sunday newspapers. On the local TV, BBC, UTV. Been covered in every newspaper you could think of. And not for good reasons. Because I'm the election agent for the favourite who's going to win the Westminster seat here in North Down. And they went through my Facebook and found posts that didn't suit their left-wing views. So I was splashed all over the papers. Look at that. Oh. Why are you shaking? Why? What happened? So they used me. Oh right, what's happening? Oh, it's because this is right. I see. You press it down. That's it. That's it there. So there you go. But they couldn't get anything on the candidate, and I'm his election agent, so they went for me. And I'm a racist, I'm what is it? Oh, I'm all sorts of things. I'm against nurses and all sorts of things. Isn't that nice? Thank you very much. Oh, I can see I'm going to have fun with that. There's a little button there. It needs to be cleaned. So I'm everything that's bad and evil in this world. That's it now. But I don't really give a shit, to be quite honest, because those are my views. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I'm not a racist, but no, as soon as you hear somebody saying I'm not a racist, you think he's making excuses. Fuck them. I don't give a shit about them. I just don't like mass immigration with uncontrolled immigration. And so there you go. But I'm a racist. Right, okay, that's it. Bye-bye. Ooh. This is an SJ-200 VS, and it is a beautiful guitar. It's got very well made, and it looks perfect in every way until you start to look closer to it. Now, when I first glanced at it, I saw nothing that sort of out of position or that made me sort of think twice about it until I looked at the label. And the label is shiny. I don't know whether I can get across there or not. It's shiny. It's nothing like what Gibson would put on a guitar. Also, the numbers are perfectly in line, 13074, all sitting on the line perfectly, and that doesn't happen. And the SJ-200 VS is sitting perfectly as well, and there's no difference in the text. So that's a label that's been printed bulk and put out. And then you look at the other things. You're looking for the trim, and the trim looks very good, but when you look closely at the They do a very nice job, but you see all the black around it? That's because they couldn't fit it quite as well as a Gibson. Then they've used fillers in it to fill up the gaps. There's a particular one there with the D of the point. They just put fillers in the back instead of doing the shapes properly. Also, there's a sharpness to the frets that is not Gibson-like at all. It's going to be a little bit awkward to get rid of. And an interesting thing that I thought was funny. Hold on, somebody's coming to talk to me. Hold on. back again. Just a text message comes in and ruins it. But I thought you might be interested in the truss rod. The truss rod fascinates me because Gibson usually have their truss rod, a piece of wood coming out of there, and their truss rod's about there, the start of it, and the bolt and everything. But this one is unique. I haven't seen a truss rod like this before. And the truss rod is unique because, come on, screw, get out of it. There is no truss rod. It's a fake plate put on it. And there should be a Gibson logo on that as well. So that's just a fake plate. But the truss rod is there, but it's inside, as you can see. Oh, maybe you can't see, but it is in there. I'll just go back a bit and you can see it there. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to have a good look in the inside too. So it's a nice guitar. There's another couple of little things that you can spot. They've run out of wood by the look of it up here. And so they put a sliver of wood on the edge there to try to make that rounded, but they haven't done a very good job. So there's two different types of wood there. And some people complain about these being crooked, but that's not too bad. And this is not what you would call perfect, but it's not awful. This should be perfect, and it's close, but it's not. The edges are wrong on each side. The gold is all right. It's all right on it. And the binding around the edges is okay too. It's got nice equipment on it. It's got the jack plug there and the holder there. It's got lovely binding on it, especially the joints. And it's got a Fishburne pickup, preamplifier, and it's got Grover tuners. But I'm not that convinced that they're Grover tuners because of this sticky paper they have on them. Obviously, they stamped these round discs from a stamp of paper and left the plastic on, but Grovers don't have that for a start. Also, Grovers, let me just show you the one little thing I seen about it that the Grover wouldn't have. Yeah, you see that little bubble? Grover are very fussy on their, so that kind of bubble coming out of the factory wouldn't be acceptable to them. They feel decent enough tuners. The screws look a bit cheap, which means they're not Grovers. And here's the big tell. No serial number. Nothing serial number wise. Neck is nice enough, but you also see the line there. That's Gibson, don't use that kind of join. But overall, it's a lovely, well-made guitar, and I can't fault it, and it's got beautiful work in it, and that doesn't feel shabby at all. It's actually, this is not what you call a butterfly, where they're taking sides, opened it up. This is just a sticker going down the middle, because you can see the grain of the wood, if you follow the grain of the wood across there. This is just a sticker that's been painted on or glued on or something like that there. But it really is an excellent guitar for a Chibson, if it is a Chibson. Now, the one thing I'm going to have to look at is this action. This action looks terrible. And these things are dried out like a hell, and they have to come off and do. But the next job I'll do is I'll put the camera up above and let you see. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll cut the strings off with the camera above, and then we'll go inside and have a look around. Right, now, I don't believe this guitar was made to fool anybody. Because if it was made to fool anybody, it would at least have the serial number on it or somewhere. I think they just wanted to make a copy. And they've done a pretty good job of a copy. Don't know how playable it will be, but we'll see when we get it all together. I'm just going to service it, and you couldn't sell this as a Gibson because instantly people would know with no serial number that it's not a Gibson, although I do have a Gibson without a serial number on it, but that is an ancient old Gibson, old Gibson from the 50s, so that's an excuse for it. Right, we're going to have a look a little inside. I'll just put a bit of tape on that because I don't want the bridge coming off just at the moment. So let's go inside and have a little nosy. Okay. Alright, there we go. And it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I'm not that familiar with the insides of JS guitars. And you can see they haven't gone mad about drilling through and they haven't gone mad and drilled through and split the wood in the bass and everything, so it's pretty neat. And there's the pickup. I don't know what that kind of glue is. It's yellow, but I don't think I'm going to see anything here that's going to surprise me. Well made Chinese copy, and you can see the truss rod there. We'll have a look at that in a second to see what. Come on, that's it. Yeah, thank you. Right, as I say, there's no cracks, there's nothing on it, nothing exciting. It's all pretty good. Not sure what we're talking about. You know, the grain of the wood is not following the grain of the top. So two different layers of something on it. But that label is just a dead giveaway. You can't see it shiny, but it just looks like a cheap label stuck on it. Okay. Now, speed this up, take these off. Georgie girl is around somewhere, but she's lazy. It's really hot today in Northern Ireland. It is 17 degrees outside, and inside it's in a bright blue sky and a sunshine, which we don't often get. Inside it's 27, and I don't have any heat on, but this is a mobile home and the sun belts down on it and it gets quite warm. So that's that away. And I don't know where Georgie girl is. Georgie girl will make an appearance. I'll bring her just to let everybody see her. She's much better now. I just have this aversion. I have this aversion to saying she's perfectly better, because when you say something like that, you're tempting fate. So I always say she's 99% better. But I tell you what, I spent almost £3,000 fixing her. And my insurance company, I did buy cat insurance for her when we first began. And I thought, brand new pussycat doesn't need really expensive cat insurance. And Georgie girl's only 3 years old. And the cat insurance I bought will only cover her for £1,000. So I'm almost £2,000 out of pocket. But I tell you, I was prepared. Well, I could have gone up to about 10,000 mixing all my credit cards, and I tell you, I would have spent every penny of that, because she's just such a little precious cat and a doll to me. And so I'm looking for other issues, but there's some badness there. There's a little bit of glue there at the edges, and they shouldn't have shown that, but that could be plywood, but I can't tell. And so what's next? Oh, to test the neck straightness. The neck is a dead straight, straighter than I would like, but it's dead straight. Well, we'll have to test it again with the strings on to make sure that it stays dead straight. And as you can see, I've shown you before, you can see that the lines all around this. I'll try to get a picture of a reel, and there's a gap there at the top. Let me just show you. There's a gap up there, and the binding doesn't quite match up to the top and it's sharp. But I'll try to get a picture of a real SJ-200 to let you see what it looks like compared to these with the dark lines all around it. Obviously they've cut it out with a larger template so they can put these in, and then the filler goes dirty over the years. So other than that, let's just get down to, well, I have to do some servicing. So I tell you what I'll do first before I do some servicing. I'm going to check the frets for leveling. Speed this up. Yeah, all those need it, as usual. They need to be leveled a bit, but the rest are all pretty good. and they're going to have to be smoothed a bit, which will be a problem because when the binding's right up to you, you're going down there with a fret file. This is a special file with a soft edge that doesn't score, but you're still having to go, and you're going to be scoring that. Even though you don't want to score it, this flat edge will still rub against it. Yeah, but I can feel when I do this, I can feel, you can hear it yourself, it's catching against the side of it. So I'm going to do that the whole way up and then turn it around, do it the whole way on both sides. So that'll be a sped up video. I probably won't touch down there because it's too hard to do. Maybe on one or two I might do, but if you hit the body then you're up the creek. So I've got my work cut out for me. Do you know, I didn't test the amplification. So I should have done that, shouldn't I? And there's a battery in it. Let's just take that battery out. It's got a funny holder, and you press that in and the battery pops out. Not sure what that does. Oh, that's a microphone. Interesting, that's a little microphone there. So it's got a microphone there and it's got a pickup. It's a Fishburne. Okay. Right, okay, I'm going to pause now because the next thing I'm going to do is get real work done, and I'm going to clean that. Oh, right, okay. So that wasn't quite glued on as well as it should have been. Actually, I don't see any glue, but it fits well. It fits well. I'll put a little dab of glue on that, clean that up. But when I come back again, I'll be doing the neck. Okay? Cheers. This is going to be super boring because I've done it 1,000 times and this is no different from the others, and I don't think it's going to be actually worth watching, but I'll speed it up. That feels much better. That feels much better. And I'm going to give it a sand and everything. And what I'm going to do now, I think, it's not a dirty fretboard. I'm just going to oil it, and I'm going to oil the bridge as well. Again, when I talk about lemon oil, make sure your lemon oil is almost pure mineral oil, because mineral oil is not harmful to your skin. People use it on skin products, etc., etc., for themselves. So, but make sure you don't buy cheap stuff that's not mostly made up of chemicals. Just as, I love the smell of it. So I'm going to move this up here now. Let's see if you can see the bottom. Yes, and then I'm going to use my hand to spread the lemon oil around it. Inside it and everything. Let me just get my brush because how do I turn the camera off now? Any suggestions? I'll use my thumb. Right, okay. Now we're going to polish these frets. Give it another touch of lemon oil after I polish the frets, and then we'll go to the next job. Another thing that makes me think these may not be great frets is because the steel wool goes black. It's a big enough guitar, jumbo, and I still laugh at that there. They put the thing on for appearance. I wonder if they did that in the real JS. I doubt it. I doubt it. Alright, pause. Just going to stick the nut on. You don't need to go mad with super glue. A lot of people go mad and they stick glue all over there. You just need to stick it on the actual fretboard part there. and then push the other part. It's only just to hold it, because it should be able to hold itself. So when you put it in, you're pressing against the fretboard and making sure those two sides are equal, and that should be enough, because there's no pressure on that if it's shaped properly. Okay. Now, just before I stick the strings on, just show you another little thing that sometimes is a clue of a fake guitar, but it's not in this case, not that I spot. You see the bottom of the S has got a little sharp triangle just at the bottom of the S there. Most fake ones have a rounded S or a lumpy S, but this one's got the proper shape on it, so it could fool some people, but not without. Wouldn't fool anybody that had an ounce of sense to notice that it needs a serial number. You can't get away with a guitar like this without a serial number. Okay, so that's it all cleaned up. The strings are going on now, and I'll zoom through this as well. Now, the owner gave me some Martin 12s. This has got a problem, this guitar, because you see the way it's hitting there? It's only hitting it by about a millimeter down there. Oh, come on. You can't see. You can't see. This has got a problem. When you put that neck down, that should be sitting about 3 millimeters off that bridge when it was straight string. But this one's hitting low. That means to get a good action down there, you've got to shave that whole head down or bring the where's the bridge? What did I do with the bridge? Anyway, the saddle, sorry, is there. It's here somewhere. Anyway, the saddle has to come down, but the saddle can't come down on us anymore. So there's no point in me even shaving the inside of that, because the saddle will disappear. So you're not going to have the best action there. But when you put 12s or 13s on this, you're putting more pressure on it, and you're going to get even a worse action on there. And it's already shown that it's prone to sinking. This body's prone to sinking. The neck joint, this part here, this neck joint should come up and go in there and be sitting like that. Sorry, like, how do I show this? Right, it should be sitting, the wood part should be leaning in like that, but it's not, it's flat. So there's nothing stopping that going down except for some struts, and they're not the greatest struts. So I'm not going to put the 12s on, because you're only going to give yourself trouble. I'm going to put some Orphe 10s on, and I quite like Orphe. Orphe came second. They're cheap strings, but they came second in the trial above strings that cost 65 quid. This is just a cheap thing off Temu or Wish Sorako. I think it costs 12 quid. It's actually a screwdriver, but it's such a bad screwdriver it goes slow, which is perfect for putting strings on. Now, need to check that neck again. Let's make sure it's still straight. Yep, still straight as a die. Actually, very good indeed. So that means the truss rod's holding it. The only thing is that you can see down there, I'll just bring you down, the action's not great. Alright. Now there you go. It's a mighty pretty guitar, and I tell you, it would blast the socks off you. It's got the amplifier on with a battery in. I'll give you a tune in a second, but I accidentally switched the guitar on when this Fishburne was up full, and my Georgia girl jumped about 6 feet, and the amplifier blew my socks off. So it's a very powerful pickup. Fishburne, very good. So I'll give you a tune on it now and let you see it. I put the truss rod cover on. If you're going to go to this length to have a Gibson, I would change that truss rod cover and get a Gibson one. They're cheap, because nobody will ever consider buying this as a Gibson. and I've told you the reasons why. So, okay, tune time. Oh, I had the camera. Oh boy. Well, this is the first video, as I said earlier, that I've done for quite a while. Georgie girl is sleeping up on her shelf and she's doing very well, so I can relax a bit more. This is the Gibson SJ-200 VS, which isn't a Gibson SJ-200 VS, but it looks super. It's got all the right parts and it looks gorgeous. And it was built to order apparently, and the man made a point of asking them not to put a serial number on the back, which was nice. I would take those stickers off though. And if you're going to go the whole hog, you might as well put the Gibson logo on that too there as well. But it's a lovely guitar. It's got a problem. It's got an unfixable problem because the neck is dead straight, which is perfectly good. You could put an underbow in it if you wanted to, but because that fretboard is equal to the top of the bridge, I can't get that down any further, the strings down any further. The only way to do that is to have a neck reset, and it's really not worth it. So the action at the bottom is higher than I would like it. But the action up there, I brought it down, I smoothed the nut down, I sanded the nut down, and it sounds lovely. And it's actually very playable up to about there. It gets a bit difficult down there. As I say, I'd need to bring the string right down to about, you can't go down any further. The only way to do it is to shave it and trim it and script it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the tuning. The only thing I would say is, you see, I'm not going to plug the Fishburne that in. It is powerful. Actually, while I'm at it, I must keep my battery because you can't afford to lose these batteries. So, but I'm not going to play it through that because it is powerful. That Fishburne is amazing, really good, and the sound is great. Let me just check the tuning. I've stretched the strings and everything, but it sounds nice. Very rich sound. Very rich sound indeed, and the Fishburne has got lots of volume controls. It's got a phaser, it's got all sorts of things. But as you can see, it sounds lovely, it plays lovely, and I think it's a nice guitar. And I'm happy to work on it, especially that I know that it can't be sold as an original Gibson. So I'll play my favorite chords and let you go. Now reverse the strumming. Very nice guitar, very nice guitar. Be a little bit sore in the fingers you're playing down there. I would say that the action is about almost 1/4 of an inch down there. But that's because a couple of reasons. My opinion, too heavy strings on this. These are standard 10s, which is about the maximum I put on it. Some people put 13s and 12s, and what you're doing is you're putting a lot of pressure on the neck to bow downwards, and this doesn't have good strong support inside like a Gibson would have, so the body sinks inwards. Also, this is too thick. Something could be done about that with a lot of work, but this is a fun guitar. I don't think it needs it. Oh, Fingers. Right, it's going home. It's going home to Daddy. Say goodbye to it. Lovely guitar. Very well made. Okay, bye-bye. And bye-bye from me and Georgie girl. Oh, she's moved. Where did she go to? She must have walked past us, so she's in the window. Bye-bye, bye-bye.